Listener discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the I Should Totally Be Dead Right Now podcast, where we tell true stories of survivors of true crime, natural disasters, and everything else in between. How's it going, Michelle?
It's going pretty well. I've got a little tequila in me.
Yes.
I can feel it. I got a little bit of a flush going, so all is well.
Yeah. No, it's, you made some really tasty margaritas. So what would you call these margaritas? Just...
No, I have something.
Okay.
Maybe some like lemon lime margaritas.
Ooh.
Or fresh margaritas, or that's kind of what we were going for. So we used fresh lime juice mainly, fresh lemon juice, tequila, triple sec, and then there we were. I guess that was all there was.
Do you have
Oh,
measurements?
and a little sugar. No, girl, I don't have measurements.
I have to post this picture. I need,
I did a lot of limes.
Okay.
And a half a bottle of tequila.
Oh
We're
my
done.
gosh. I'll make up something.
No. I can
Okay.
come up with it.
Okay.
I can come up with it.
Thank you.
So if you're making a single one,
Yes.
it's probably like one lime and half a lemon.
Okay.
And then probably a shot of tequila, a shot of triple sec, and then probably just a touch of some syrup, like simple syrup or maybe some super fine sugar.
Okay.
Just to give it a little bit of a sweet taste.
Okay.
And you're good to go.
Thank you.
Serve
I
that over
appreciate
ice. We made some spicy oh my god, not spicy, sugar. We made, girl, oh my god, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. Spicy salt.
Yes.
And put that around, and that was delicious.
Yeah, no, that was super tasty.
All my salt is gone.
Yeah.
I like find the little bit that's left and
know.
have a little sip there.
Mine's completely gone. It's super tasty, and yeah, it's tequila, so.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So drink responsibly. My goodness.
We're going to fight later.
Right.
That's what's going to happen. Kayla and I had a boxing match, and no, just kidding. I do think this would be really good with like a touch of some sparkling water.
Right.
Or maybe like some Sprite or something, because it's very...
I don't know. I like the tartness of
Yeah,
it.
it's very tart.
Yeah.
And very tequila-y.
Right.
Well, because we were almost done with the bottle. And it's like,
Right.
why take this little bit home with me?
Correct.
Let me just dump the rest in. That's what happened. So it got a little tequila-licious, if you will.
Yeah, right? My goodness.
We had some margaritas.
Yeah.
We're going to tell some stories.
It's going to be a good time.
I got my hair cut today.
It looks
It's a
really
whole
nice.
thing.
You got it dyed too?
I did.
So beautiful.
I got it highlighted to cover all my gray.
Oh my gosh, whatever.
My poor hairdresser probably like looks at the top of my head and was like, "Oh, you have not been here for a while because it's gray."
No.
You're so sweet.
It looks really nice. I love the color. You're a good blonde.
I was always blonde, and then I moved to Oregon, and then I became not blonde anymore.
Yeah.
Just not enough sun. I guess I was a sun bleached blonde. I do feel like the hair you're born with is the hair that probably looks most beautiful on you.
Oh, yeah.
That is my feeling.
I still want red hair, though.
Red hair.
Yeah, like a burgundy.
Ooh la la. I could
I
see
know.
some like dark purple or something, because
Oh,
your hair
yeah.
is really dark.
Yeah.
So you got quite the Snow White situation going on.
Thank you. Aw.
So you're going to kick us off with a
I
little
am.
story?
Yes.
Story of mayhem and destruction, most likely. But
Yeah,
then
it's-
thrilling survival in the end.
Look at you. Yeah.
I know. Fucking
know.
nailed it. Told your story for you.
I don't need to tell it anymore. My gosh.
Oh,
So
gosh.
this story is about Alex Lovell.
Okay. Alex Lovell.
So it is.
I don't think I said that right. I apologize. We'll go with it. Go for it. Alex.
So it is 2018, and we're in March.
Okay.
So Alex is 29 years old, and he lives in. It says Portland, Oregon, but he's from Washington.
Okay. That makes
So-
sense. I mean, they are pretty close.
Yeah.
So we're pretty local then.
Yeah. Hello, Portland.
All right.
And so he's been dating his girlfriend, Emily Javier, for 2 years now. So things are good until the last several months. And that's because Alex was training for Players Unknown's Battleground, a computer game where people parachute onto an island and kill each other. So it's kind of like Fortnite. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, it sounds like Fortnite to me. I've never heard of this game.
I never either.
But no judgment.
But He was spending 12 to 13 hours a day playing and training for this.
Girl, I wish I could be like, oh, Alex, you're doing bad. Do you know how many hours of fucking New World I played this weekend?
Yeah, right?
Like, from 8 a.m. until, like, 8 or 9 p.m. both days. Have we
Games are
done
fun.
dishes in the last, like, 3 weeks? No, we haven't.
Hey, games are fun.
Oh, they are fun.
Well, I just started Animal Crossing. I know it's not the same thing.
You're so
but
cute. I just want to hug you.
Mm.
Ugh.
So
We're such
I guess
nerds.
kind of get it. He would even spend time doing exercises for his hands, wrists, shoulders, and practicing mouse moves and techniques to maximize his performance. So he was all about like
He was
being
getting
really
into
well.
it. Okay.
Yeah, he wanted to be a professional for sure.
All
But
right.
unfortunately, that gave him no quality time with his girlfriend. Like,
Hmm.
he's just gaming, you know? But Emily started to get suspicious because she was noticing different things.
Oh.
And so, first, their intimate relationship was pretty much non-existent. They were not intimate
Oh.
with each other. She saw also that he may have had a Tinder app on his phone, even though that's where they met, is
I'm
through
like,
Tinder.
say what?
Mhm.
Alex.
She saw scratches on his back, and she thought that would be from sex, and also found a red hair in the shower drain.
Okay. I see that. Okay.
And she has green hair, dyed green hair, so
Not red at all.
not red.
Is he cheating on her?
So, well, she was enraged, and this is not the first time she accused him of cheating. But in this state of rage, she goes to the mall and goes shopping. But what she buys at the mall
Oh, it's not clothes.
is a samurai sword.
Oh no! Oh no!
What a
I'm
thing
like,
to get.
I'm like, I have 2 samurai swords at home, so I can't.
Is it
say.
above your bed? Just like
Well,
framed?
no, it's next to our office, which is actually right where we game.
Oh.
So I guess I'm prepared to do whatever you need to do with a samurai sword.
Fair enough.
Mine are decorative, not sharp at all.
So she she taped this sword and 2 knives on her side of the bed so he could not see.
Okay, that's a little suspicious.
Right?
Hmm.
She then spends the next week stewing and plotting her revenge.
Over him cheating on her. Allegedly cheating.
Allegedly cheating.
Because of a red hair and back scratches and a Tinder app.
Yes.
Okay.
So it is now March 2nd of 2018, and Alex returns home and pretty much ignores Emily. Like, they don't...
Just roll in and I'm going to go game now.
Pretty much,
Okay.
yeah. So around 9 p.m., she goes into the bedroom, and then Alex joins her a little later on and goes to sleep. Emily then waits for him to deeply fall asleep, and then she hides his phone so he can't call for help.
Oh dear. This does not bode well.
No. She then retrieves the samurai sword that's taped to her bed, and then just brings it down straight onto Alex.
Like, stabs him, like, directly in his heart? Or,
Not
like,
in
tries
his
to cut
heart.
his head off?
She, like, swung down at him. So
Okay.
it hits him, and he wakes up.
Yeah.
Of course.
In a
you
pretty
know?
violent way. My goodness.
His instincts then kick in, and he was a big fan of, like, kung fu films and even had martial arts training himself already.
Ah.
He states, "I was able to Wing Chun my way to survival," referring to a traditional form of Chinese martial arts that focuses on close-range combat.
I want to sing Everybody Wing Chun tonight.
Oh.
Like, so bad. But I
Hold
won't.
it in, Michelle. So he got her into a bear hug, and he states, "I saw the look in her eyes, and it scared the living poop out of me.
Oh, dear.
I told her I loved her, and she was killing me. She needed to call the police, or I was going to die." Having said that, Emily actually does call 911, and she is stricken with grief and horrified over the violent outbursts that she had. She tells dispatcher that she just stabbed her boyfriend repeatedly with a sword. She said that she thinks that he's dead and they should hurry, but she could not go back into the room to check on him because there was too much blood.
Oh, dear.
Right.
Huh.
Police arrive around 1:54 a.m., just minutes after the call happened. Police enter the bedroom and blood is splattered all over the walls.
Oh my god.
Alex is curled up in a ball, and they quickly take him to the hospital. Alex's index, middle, and ring fingers are nearly lopped off at the base. But luckily,
Whoa.
right? Because his hands were
I'm,
catching
like,
the blade.
Amazed that she can actually buy a samurai sword at the mall that is as sharp as this.
Right, in
Like,
Oregon?
I mean, kind of.
It
like,
could be some force, too. I mean, she had some rage. She had some anger, man.
I mean, if I beat anyone with my samurai sword, it's not doing anything.
I
Maybe
just-
some bruises,
Right.
but I'm not breaking any skin.
I just think it's weird that that's your go-to weapon. When you go, like,
yeah.
you have a lots of different options. No offense, but like,
I mean,
a
you're
samurai
at the
sword,
mall.
Yeah.
I mean, you can buy whatever you want.
right? But a samurai sword. But you know, and she had two knives too, tight. I mean,
Well,
I don't know.
yeah, the whole thing is very premeditated.
Oh,
I mean-
absolutely. Doctors were able to reattach all
His
of
fingers.
his fingers. Yeah.
Well, that's good. My
So
God.
he also had deep lacerations on his feet and legs and a fractured wrist. Also,
on his feet.
well, he was just pretty much
Like using
deflecting as
anything
much
he
as he
could
can.
as she's just whacking down on him.
exactly. Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
He also had various other wounds to his torso, neck, and the left side of his head.
Ugh.
I'm not. Ugh. He states, "I was just so proud for beating the samurai wannabe crazy lady with hate in her heart."
Oh my God. Wow.
He said that the cheating allegations were false. He never cheated on her. He does feel bad about not paying attention to her and focusing really on gaming and training. But he had no time for cheating when he was gaming all of this time.
Yeah.
He said once they were dating seriously, he deleted the app, so he wasn't sure about
Where
what she
the
saw.
Tinder
Yeah,
thing
came
came-
from. So it's still, even if he did have the Tinder app, doesn't mean that you should be chopped up. You know?
Agreed. I mean, even if you are cheating, in fact, you shouldn't be murdered.
No.
Or
Absolutely
attempted
not.
murdered.
No. So it was weird because the interviewer interviewing him asked if they were still an item. And he
He's
said,
like, no.
he's like, I haven't spoken with her, if that's what you mean. I mean, she called the authorities and saved my life. I hope that counts for something. It's a bit complicated. Regardless, I assume she needs some serious help.
It's complicated on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, right?
No, sorry.
No, it's kind
Oh,
of
sorry.
No, I mean, that's a dumb question. Like, are
Yeah.
you guys still together unless she tried to
No.
kill you? It's like, no.
Why would you be together?
Right?
I mean, and if you were together, you
You
maybe
need
have some
help
other
too.
problems.
Yeah. So Emily was sentenced to 19 years in prison for attempted first-degree domestic violence murder in March of 2019. So it's only been a few
Dang.
years. So members of the Player Unknown's Battleground community actually launched a GoFundMe raising around $8,000 for him.
Wow.
So Alex is grateful, but he knows that he has a long recovery ahead of him and a lot of physical therapy. But luckily, he didn't lose any fingers.
Gosh.
And hopefully can, you know,
You can
still
continue to
game
game.
now. Exactly. Yeah.
Ugh. I wish I could say gaming was bad, but I love it, so.
Gaming is fun. I think if you play 12 to 13 hours a day, then there should be some questions.
Okay, Judgy McJudgerson over there.
I'm just saying, unless you're getting, like, that's your, like, you're getting paid to do that, you know?
Oh my god, I would love to play 12 to 13 hours of video games
But
a
you
day.
can't because you have a job, Michelle.
Yes, it's true.
That's what I'm saying.
Ugh.
I was saying if gaming is getting into your life of, you know,
Your job and
yeah,
everything.
and your relationships,
yeah.
who knows?
Well, honestly, fortunately, Joel and I game together.
That's cute. See?
And
So does Nick and I.
It
So
makes it, now it's an activity together,
Right.
not, he's in the other room and I'm in the living room
Right.
stewing and, considering
Chopping
macheting him up. Yeah.
macheting.
Yeah,
Samurai.
you didn't know
Well,
about it.
I did
That's a
not.
word. Macheting.
Do you have a machete?
Yes, I have like 3 of them, in fact.
Why?
Because we like to get dead branches off of our trees. You just swipe a machete up and down it, and you can.
I'm concerned a little bit. A
Nah.
small bit.
We haven't like murdered each other in any kind of real way.
But I can see you being like a duo. Like,
A murdering duo.
yeah, like Bonnie
Yeah.
and Clyde.
Oh,
Just kidding.
I could see that.
No, Michelle.
I'm like, ah.
No.
No, I won't be in a murdering duo.
Thank you. Wow.
All right.
All right.
My
So,
word. All right.
But I'm very happy that Alex survived and that his instincts kicked in. He was a fighter, not a flighter.
That's true.
And it was really lucky that he talked some sense into her to like, I love you, so please call 911 or I'm gonna die. And then she's like,
Oh,
wow, this is, and she sees all the blood. She's like, this is too much. Like, yeah, it's I don't know what she was expecting. I guess I don't understand what people expect.
I bet it's similar where you think it's going to be one thing and it's just completely not. It's not what you expect at all. And it's just terrible. It's just awful everywhere you look.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Ugh.
So good job, Alex. Way to survive that. And I'm glad his community really came around him and supported him as well.
Yeah. And I'm glad he didn't lose his fingers.
Absolutely.
Or his life, for that matter.
Well, yeah, but also, because his hands, that's how you play games, so. All right, Michelle, it's your turn with your story.
All right. Well, I actually went through various stories. I had like 3 other stories that I was going to tell. And I ended up landing on this one, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So my brother calls me today. And he's like, and he called like 3 times in a row. And I was like,
Must
all
mean
right,
something.
I better pick up. And what had happened was...
He calls you a lot. That's why you don't answer.
Yeah, well, he has this, like, just knack of calling at the most inopportune times. Where it's like, either I'm not near my phone... or I just absolutely can't pick up because I'm in the middle of like pouring out sugar or something for, the bees and all that. And so this morning it was kind of the same thing. I wasn't around. And then I was like, oh crap, I have all these missed calls. And then he calls again. So the reason he had called is he drove by the property that we grew up on.
Aww.
And my dad passed away, like 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Now. So it's been a long time, but we didn't spread his ashes for many years because we were kind of debating on where to spread them. And, we were in Oregon and we figured he wanted to be spread down in California where he grew up or not grew up, but where he lived his main life, I guess we could say. And so we finally make it down to California with his ashes. My sister and I drive down, we meet my brother. And, of course, we don't own the home that we grew up on. And so we're going to spread the ashes on that place.
Oh, my God. Okay.
We grew up, there was a big orchard there. And so we want to spread his ashes in that orchard because he put his heart and soul into it, And so we go, and, of course, it's completely trespassing. Right, and so we go in the dead of the night.
Oh, my gosh, Michelle.
Park at the end of the property, and then we run onto the property and spread his ashes onto these, like, back apple trees, right? Yeah. And so he drove by, and those apple trees are completely gone, and there's a volleyball court there now.
No!
After all that.
No!
So he had only been, had his ashes spread for 2 years, and now it's completely dug up. Those trees had probably been there for 40 years, and
it's a volleyball court.
Now it's a volleyball court. So
sand?
I think it's still dirt, but it's I don't know exactly, but
so
there's a volleyball net there.
It's just different.
It's different. It's just I just thought it was just kind of ironic and funny. And then I came across this story about this poor woman trying to spread her husband's ashes. And so that's where we are.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, let's get into it.
So I just thought anyway.
No, I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
This is about Jean Geer. Okay. And Jean had been married to Jack for 34 years before he passed away. Right. They had lived in San Francisco, they had lived in Hawaii, and they finally landed in Port Angeles in Washington. Okay. In December of 2016, Jean walked out to her backyard and found that her husband had had a massive heart attack and died very suddenly. I know, I'm sorry. So immediately, let's just get depressing. He was 72 years old, and Jean, of course, felt completely lost without him.
Absolutely.
She went on trying to look for books on grief and loss because she really just didn't know how to move forward. Yeah, she was really struggling. I mean, 34 years with one person. Yeah. It's what do you do with your life after that?
I know you are the same, but sometimes when I think about Nick just dying randomly, I'll just start crying.
No, I know. It's totally totally true. And I've told Joel,
Yeah.
he has ruined fantasizing about other men for me forever.
I know, right?
Because he's got to be dead for
He
the only
has to
way.
be.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
I'm cheating on him. That doesn't work out.
It does not.
But then I get too depressed about him being dead in my fantasies.
Yeah.
So I just, he's ruined it all for me. So thanks, Joel. Anyway, Jean is sad and upset. So, but one thing she remembers is that Jack had very specific wishes when it came to spreading his ashes.
Okay, great.
So he wanted half of his ashes spread in Hawaii,
Ooh.
and then half of his ashes spread in Olympic National Park, which is a park up near Seattle.
Oh, okay.
I think is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
She decided she went to Hawaii first, and she dispersed half of Jack there.
As you would. Hawaii first.
Yeah, well done. She put him in the ocean. So after that, she sort of dreaded spreading the other half of his ashes, because then she would be parted with him forever.
Aww.
Kind of. So she waited and waited, and then finally she was like, I gotta do it.
Yeah.
I gotta go to the Olympic National Park and spread the rest of his ashes. So now we're on July 17th, and I think it's still 2016. Maybe it's 2017. Anyway, she decides today's the day she's gonna spread the ashes. So Jean took off, and she took the rest of Jack remains, as well as her dog Yoda, who is a 5-year-old Chihuahua mix.
Okay.
So off they go. They climb into her 2004 Ford Explorer. It's around 4 p.m. and they take off towards the park.
Okay.
And they park there, and she decides, like, she gets out of the car. She doesn't need her coat because she's only going to be gone for a half an hour. And it's just in and out, and so she's feeling pretty good about it. She even, like, had planned what she was going to make for dinner that night. Like, she fully expected to be home. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Clearly, she's not going to be home.
Oh, gosh.
Poor thing. Okay. So she heads in to the national park, and she was going for a special spot that was kind of just inside the parking lot. And so she drove in about 3 miles and then found this specific spot for her to park her Explorer. Okay. And because she knew that just inside were these special kind of flowers that Jack had always said had moved him.
Aww.
They were blue alpine forget-me-nots.
Oh,
and
cute.
I know, it's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, let's just all cry right now. So that was her goal destination. So she grabbed her cell phone. She grabbed the urn with his ashes in it.
Yeah.
Yoda. They locked the door and headed out. She went in looking for this sort of patch of forget-me-nots, and she couldn't find any right away. So she's like, I'll probably just keep on looking for a little while. So she heads a little deeper in, and then she sees this whole big patch of the flowers that she had been looking for. So she's like relieved and excited. So she heads in, and then she sort of spreads Jack's ashes, and she, said a little quiet something to Jack and a little blessing, and then she turned around to leave. She realized that when she looked around, that she in fact did not remember where she had come from.
No.
And I feel like this is exactly what would happen to me,
right,
should I ever head out into the wilderness.
Same, girl.
It's
same.
just, which way did I come? I mean, I go to a mall, go into a store, and then come out and head the wrong direction.
Right? And there's a million trees that look the same.
Yeah,
Who knows?
that's exactly. So that is what happened to Jean.
Oh, no.
She actually had a nickname her husband had given her called Wrong Way Jean.
Oh, my.
So, which I get. So she saw a hill and she headed toward it, and she figured if she could make it to the top, she could look around and see where she was and be able to figure out where she had parked her car. So her shoes, which were not really ready for, they were not hiking shoes. They had a smooth tread. They were just, shoes for a quick walk.
I see.
Not, full on. She was wearing like a tank top and capris or something or a t-shirt and capris. And so she headed out up onto this hill, but what ended up happening is she slipped, she dropped the urn and watched it roll over the edge of the hill and then tumble into a gully. And then she tried to kind of slide down to see if she could fetch the urn back and realized it had gone too far. But then she ended up kind of sliding down the hill, I think, a bit herself.
This is turning awful.
Yeah, no, the whole thing is awful. So, I mean, she survives.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's a survival podcast, but yeah, she goes through a lot. So, poor thing. So, she realizes that she's not able to get the urn. Like, it's just, it's gone. She's got to let it go. She's not going to be able to make it down in the shoes she's in. And the slope of the hill is too much. And at this point now, she has been gone from home for more than a few hours, and it's getting dark.
Right.
And so she reached for her cell phone to call for help, but there is no service. And so she's thirsty. She needs water. So she essentially just like looks around and picks a way to go. So she heads off in that direction. So she's pushing through underbrush and branches, and she's got Yoda kind of coming along with her.
Right.
The branches ended up sort of cutting her and pricking her like pretty deeply. And then she finally came across a small creek. So she was able to actually get some water.
Oh, okay.
And so her and Yoda drank deeply out of this little creek.
Yoda.
And then night fell, and she realized, I'm going to have to spend the night
in a
out
tank
in the
top
woods.
and capris.
Yeah. And so she had heard, of course, of stories, as we all do. I mean, you go people dying on Mount Hood, or people going out and hiking all the time in the Northwest, and people getting lost.
What time of year is it?
This is, it's July.
Oh,
so
okay, summer.
it's still summer. So certainly not snowing where she is. But, you know, the nights get cold.
Yeah.
So she had heard of people who had died in the park. She had heard of people who had been mauled by bears. And, you know, so she's just trying to stay calm and not really go into some major panic attack. So first things first, she needed a place to sleep. So she spotted some down trees and that had sort of a big rock next to it, and there was sort of a space in between the rock and this log.
Okay.
And so she sort of hunkered down there. And so she was an experienced camper, fortunately. So she wasn't really frightened by all the noises and everything that was going on at night.
Nick and I camp every single year with his family. Like, it's tent camping. There's no, like, facilities.
Yeah, you go, like, out into the woods,
yeah.
it seems like.
And so I don't know. It's so weird. It's so eerie just having no noise. It's so quiet. And then when you hear a noise in the distance, it's like, what the fuck is that?
What was that?
Exactly. I just can't. I love and hate it.
Yeah.
I love and hate it.
I could see that. Well, she was trying to keep herself calm.
Yeah.
You know, so she was sort of thinking about what she was going to make for dinner that night, which actually sounds delicious. It was noodle soup with porks and vegetables and fresh cherries for dessert. So that sounds incredible.
That does sound incredible.
I want all that.
That's smart because my mind wanders and you just think of the worst.
Yeah, you're thinking of, is that a bear? Is that a bug? Is
that a human that wants to kill me?
I didn't even think of that.
Sorry,
Karen.
I'm just saying.
Oh my God. But ultimately, what made her feel calmer was thinking of Jack. And so I know. And she concluded that she would make it to daylight if she could just sort of hold on to the thought of him.
Oh my God.
So that's what she did. So dawn rises, and so she leaves her little shelter of the log and rock. So she's now sort of forging a trail, trying to make her own trail. And Yoda, of course, is still with her. But, I mean, he's a little chihuahua. So even at their home where he would get stuck on, like, logs and stuff trying to jump over him. And then he would, like, yelp and wait for Jean to come and help him and that type of thing.
At least he wasn't alone, though.
No, I mean, thank God you have a dog.
Yeah.
I would be happy. So he was actually losing his own strength. I mean, because now it's, like, the next day.
Yeah.
But Jean couldn't carry him. Her own strength was being taxed.
Really? A little chihuahua?
Yeah. Well, he's like 11 pounds, so I think he's a mix. So he's not like tiny, but he's
like a little 5-pounder.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a little heft to him, I guess. Poor little guy. I'm sorry, Chihuahua. So sorry, Yoda. I didn't mean it. Heft. That sounded mean.
Heft.
So Jean is sort of trying to make her way back to her Ford
Yeah.
and is struggling to find her spot. And she keeps sort of coming onto these like steep crevasses and ravines that she like either has to go way down or she has to go around and try to find her way around.
My gosh.
And so she ended up going down into one and then could never climb back up. So now she's like sort of stuck down in this ravine, and she realizes that now she's going to end up spending another night. So she has spent the entire day just trying to fight her way back to her car,
Right.
and has still not found it. At this point, now beginning to kind of lose hope.
Right.
So she spends the night once again.
Oh my gosh.
And the next morning dawns, and now it's her third day there. And so now she's just given up trying to find her way out. Now she just wants to figure out a way to help rescuers find her.
Oh, okay.
So
did she tell someone where she was going to be, or did she think that rescuers are out there, or what?
well, she's hoping that rescuers are out there.
I see.
But no, it sounds like she did not tell anyone.
Ugh.
But what she is realizing, she needs to stay put.
Right.
And rescuers can find her. Because if she's still wandering around, they could find where she was, but not where she actually is.
I see.
So at the end of day 3, Jean and Yoda enter their little 8x5 shelter that she had made previous. So it's like the log and the rock again. So it sounds like she made her way back there, and then she just starts thinking about what's going on in her life. Like she had tickets to a show that now she's not going to be able to make it, and what's going on with those cherries that she was going to eat for dessert. And it's like she couldn't stop thinking about these stupid cherries.
Cherries are delicious, man.
Cherries are delicious.
So good.
Ugh, I love cherries. So the 4th day
Oh
comes.
my gosh!
So she spent the night again, and now she's just thinking about survival.
Right.
So she wants to hunker down. She wants to find some water. She wants to find some food. So throughout the day, she sort of made her way down the steep hill to where she found the water before. And she took a lot of care not to fall. She dug her, heels into the ground and really sort of grabbed onto a lot of bushes to make her way down to the water. She tried making a fire where she was. She gathered up a bunch of dry pine needles, and she tried rubbing like a small stick to a stone, but unfortunately she just couldn't make anything happen. But she kept trying and trying. So she ate some wild currants that she had found, and she found some sort of newly grown pine needles, which I actually just learned recently in a Norwegian cookbook that you can eat.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, the little how pine trees are sort of that dark green?
Yeah.
And then at the very end, there's a very light green, needles that come out.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're super tender, and you can eat them.
Oh.
So I've actually, after I found that out, I immediately went out to our pine tree, our fir trees, and checked them out. Had a little a little muncher.
It tastes good?
It tasted like pine needles.
Fair enough.
As you
Fair
imagine. But I guess you can make like drinks and all kinds of stuff out of them.
Really?
Yeah, it's a whole thing. So she ate those. And she even ate some ants, which she says they had a lemony taste. I say they have a bitter, disgusting taste that I want no part of. But poor thing, she's miserable and cold, and she's cold down to her bones, but dang it, she's not giving up.
Absolutely.
So by now, Jean's brother in Seattle is becoming worried.
Okay, good.
So he has called her home numerous times with no answer. She has not answered. She's not returned any of his calls. And so finally he drove 2 hours to her house to not, she wasn't there, of course, because she's out in the woods. So at that point he contacted the sheriff's department and was like,
yay.
Yeah, we've got a missing person to report. We need to figure out. And it sounds like actually she did tell him that she was going to the Olympic National Park because they knew where to go look.
Perfect.
So a park employee had actually spotted the explorer a while back and had radioed in saying that this explorer essentially had been abandoned.
Oh, and they didn't think twice about it.
Yeah, and they were just like, oh, well, maybe that's where she is. So all these the park's search and rescue operations folks got together. Brother, the sheriffs, they all got together and they met at her explorer to kind of figure out how they were going to find her. So dust and water spots indicated that nothing had happened with that vehicle for several days. So there was enough evidence that they realized that she had probably been lost in the woods now for a couple days. And so they went into the woods. They were calling her name. They didn't find anything. And so they ended up having to call a halt to the search that evening. So the next day at 6 a.m., so now I think we're on day 5.
Yeah.
They head out. They split into 4 groups. There's 37 people out there, all ready to head out into different directions and search for Jean. He had a nagging feeling that they probably were not going to find her.
Why?
Because Jean was 71, probably disoriented, and probably injured.
Oh.
So I think at this point they're more sort of searching almost for a body recovery and less for a person. At noon that day, sort of the radio got going, and turns out they had found the urn that she had dropped. Yeah.
Okay.
And so they found Jack's name on the side, and they were like, oh, we've got a clue. We think she's been here. So they ended up deciding to focus on a half-mile radius around the urn.
Okay.
So they found the urn, they affixed the spot of where they were going to search, and they headed out. So, and they also requested a helicopter to help search for her. He got on the helicopter and he headed up, and then he went, they first started where they found the urn, and then they kind of started doing a circle around the urn, sort of a spiral out, I guess.
Right.
And they figured maybe Jean had fallen into a gully and had dropped the urn, which in fact is exactly what happened.
Right.
They figured she probably was injured, but when they were searching, they couldn't see anything. All they saw was a sea of green. They could just see the tops of the trees, and you know how forests are around here. They're green as hell and thick as hell, and you know, you're probably not going to see a person walking around.
Yeah, good luck.
So he had another idea. He was like, if Jean is alive, she needs water.
Right.
So let's go search along the water.
Smart.
So he studied the terrain, and he spotted a creek that was, you know, kind of near the urn still, but, you know, kind of a ways off. And so off he went, and then all of a sudden he saw a dog. And then he saw a woman with silver hair waving him down.
Aww.
And so he radioed ahead to the team and gave new instructions. And from a distance, he watched the searchers running over to this woman. And he saw them hug her. And then his radio went crazy. We have Jean! We have Jean! So after 6 days
That's insane.
in the woods, Jean was actually too weak to walk out on her own.
I bet. 71? My gosh.
Yeah. So they called a helicopter and actually were able to put her into a basket and get her out of there. And then a crew carried Yoda out. Little Yoda. So at the hospital, the doctors were stunned to find out that Jean's only injuries were some scratches to her legs. She was low on potassium for eating next to nothing for nearly a week. But she ended up being released from the hospital with just a prescription of potassium tablets.
Wow.
And then she went home and immediately ate a big old bowl of cherries.
Yes!
So it ended up that without finding that urn, they would not have found her. With being able to find the urn, they were able to really focus their search. And so now the rescuers are kind of convinced that Jack helped lead them to his wife.
Oh my gosh!
And of course, Jean doesn't doubt it. She now feels like she has the will to go on without her husband. Aww. And it's time to let go and time to let my own light shine and to stand up.
You're gonna make me cry. Oh my gosh.
I know.
So sweet.
I'm crying myself.
I know.
This situation forced me to realize that I could be on my own and I need to move on with my life. And so she did. And
With the help of Yoda?
with little Yoda.
Oh my gosh.
So it sounds like she's doing well. She's put Jack at rest after he saved her one last time, perhaps.
Oh my gosh. What year was this?
Like 2016,
Right.
I think, not too long ago.
Oh my gosh, that's so sad. It's so nice at the same time.
God, I just...
So yeah, if she didn't drop the urn, I bet like when she dropped it, she's like, "This is I
It's the
tried
end,
one
forget
thing."
it.
Yeah. And then she was, oh my gosh.
And then she was saved because of it.
So. That's a great story.
God damn it, Jean and Jack. Oh, no.
Jean. All right. Well, that was inspiring, actually. Now I'm craving cherries myself.
I know. Fortunately, it's going to be cherry season before we know it here in the Northwest.
Oh, good job, Jean. Way to, like, for 71 to be out in the woods that long for 6 days.
6 days. And can you, the hardest part is being with him for 34 years and then to lose him so suddenly.
Terrible. Terrible.
Yeah. No, it takes me 1 second and I can be crying about the possibility of losing Joel in no time.
Me too. And Nick's like, I'm right here.
It's
like, I know.
Are you?
But you could have not been. Exactly. But wow, okay. Well, there's two different stories.
Indeed.
Indeed. What about relationships, I guess?
No, I just had to tell after, like I said, I had all these other stories. In fact, I'll tell that story. One is about this kick-ass lady mountain climber.
Ooh, stay tuned.
Yeah, so that'll be a fun one. Okay. But after seeing the ashes one and having my brother talk about the ashes this morning, oh my God, we had such an adrenaline rush.
I bet.
After running onto some stranger's property and spreading ashes and then running back to the car and then listening to like Neil Diamond, like full blast. And then we went to a bar and had beer.
That's cute. That's a nice memory.
A little nice send off. Oh my God.
The only thing I've done, like in high school, we forked someone's house, so you just get a lot of disposable forks and just put it all in their lawn.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Nor did I back then. But we all like put forks in his yard, and then like we jumped in the car and like left. And then, like, his sister told me the next day, like, someone forked our yard. It was not even funny. I'm like, that's rude.
And it was funny.
It was funny.
Because we were cracking up the whole way home.
It was great.
I know. I remember one time, it was near Halloween. And it was like, my Amy of Wisconsin fame, of course.
Amy.
I decided to silly string her car. And so my sister and I, like, drive over there. We silly string her car. And I'm, like, hysterical laughing. Like... Can't even because of the adrenaline and I don't know what, but I was like, like manacle freaking out over silly stringing your car. And then we rip out of there and we're like laughing so hard. We have like tears coming down our face because we're so ridiculous.
Right.
Oh my God.
I can't do that to you because Joel will be outside. And
I know, fucking murdered.
Yeah.
And then I'll come at you with my murder punch.
No, your 2 samurai swords and your 3 machetes.
Actually, you probably have more than 3.
Oh, okay.
Makes you feel any better.
No.
I know. I was thinking I'm probably pretty set because I have so many knives everywhere.
Okay.
Like, there's knives in the garage. There's 10 bazillion knives in our kitchen. That's what you get for
having acres of land.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Been watching more Oak Island. We gotta do more metal detecting.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
We're going to the beach. Let's go to the coast.
Okay. That sounds fun.
Right? Okay.
Okay, goodbye.
No, wait. Okay, so we hope you enjoyed this episode. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and we'll see you guys next time.
Ba-boom.
Ba-boom. Okay, goodbye.
Bye.